This is Rustin Rose of Access Entertainment and Metalholic Magazine, and joining us today once again, my dear friend, Bama brother, Damon Johnson of Black Star Riders and Thin Lizzy. How you doing, man?
Rustin, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing wonderful, but you've certainly been busy.
I just got back from 3.5 weeks in Europe with my partner in Black Star Riders, Ricky Ward. We did a run of acoustic dates. So now that I'm back, I'm trying to catch up on family stuff and running the kids everywhere. And I swear, brother, I feel like I'm standing on my head today.
And you're getting ready to head back over to Europe here pretty quick, too. So
yeah, we're heading over on the 9th to get rehearsed and ready for this handful of Thin Lizzy dates that we're doing. So I'm really excited, man. It's gonna be a good summer.
Today we're here to talk about your new EP, the electric EP, Echo, which is just a fantastic. I've been playing it nonstop the last few days, and I'm really digging every part of it. So let's talk about
Thank
that.
you.
Tell us the story of Echo, because if I recall, it's the fall of 2014. You're finishing up the Killer Instinct album with Black Star Riders, and boom, what happened?
Well, I've become really great friends with our producer, Nick Raskulinix, and I'm sure you know, as I'm sure some of your followers know, Nick is a decorated veteran legend producer, man. He's made so many great records and worked with so many great bands. So, but his family and my family have become really close. We don't live but about 15 minutes apart from each other. So our kids play together, our wives go out together, whatever. So it was one of those times where we're just hanging out. And he said, "Hey, man, do you have any solo material that you would be interested in playing for me?" And, man, as a longtime songwriter, I mean, there's always material sitting around. I'm always getting inspired and just trying to write just to keep the muscles in shape, if you know what I mean. So I played Nick a handful of songs, and he said, "Man, there's some stuff here I really, really love. Why don't we go in? Let's pick a couple days and go in and track." So, that's really how the whole thing started.
And working with Nick, who's such a phenomenal producer, as we all know, he's done so many great bands, including Rush and just too many to mention. What did he bring to the project?
Well, I feel like Nick has an elevated set of skills. Any producer worth their salt are going to be good listeners. They're going to get good sounds. They're going to understand how the process works of trying to capture the right energy. But I think above everything else, Nick is a fan. He's a fan of hard rock and all the subgenres that fall under that. So with his experience with just songs, Rustin, he's so great with songs. He basically took everything I brought him and just turned the arrangements upside down and said, "Hey, let's try this. Let's double the length of the riff. Why don't you play a little solo here going into the second verse?" Just things that I certainly hadn't thought about. I mean, most of these songs, I just play them on the acoustic guitar because that's how I've always written. I try to keep the writing simple. If it sounds good, just me and an acoustic, chances are it's going to sound really good when I get in there with a band and plug in my Les Paul and start ripping away. So I just come away from every day in the studio with Nick feeling like I've taken a master class. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's so skillful in every facet of the process. So it's fun for me to sit there in the room while he's working with the drummer and my rhythm section. It's fun to go, "Oh, I got an idea. Let's twist this around, guys. Double the length of that, and then I'm gonna change this riff and play it this way." He loves all that, man. There's never a sense that he's trying to just hurry up and get it finished so he can go home. He's a fan and he loves it.
Yeah, I mean, why do it if you aren't in love with what you're doing? And like I said, every song on this sounds fantastic, and I want to talk about the songs in just a moment. But last I recall, you were working on some acoustic stuff in your downtime, but this is a full-on electric set. Did you guys know going in that you wanted to do it that way, or had you thought about doing an acoustic thing? Or
no, we definitely wanted it to rock. It was time for me to put out something that I guess in a way reminds people that I'm also that guy that used to front a band called Brother Kane. That, man, it's hard to believe now that it was 20 years ago that Brother Kane, was in the public consciousness with the 3 albums that we made on Virgin Records. And, I love that band. I love those guys. And I love those songs. My career has just kind of taken a different path. I guess really starting in 2004 when I joined Alice Cooper's band. it was a different experience to kind of be a sideman and play with other people. The Thin Lizzy opportunity came later, and then, as you know, that morphed into Black Star Riders. So I give a lot of credit to the whole Black Star Riders experience in that it really got me fired up about writing songs again, Rustin. So, it was with truly the encouragement of my family and even the guys in the band, Ricky and Scott Gorham. They were like, "Hey, man, you're a good singer. You don't forget about that." So, to get Nick's involvement, it was time. It was definitely time to do something like this.
So what does Echo represent for you?
Echo represents a guy that's been around, is as in love with songwriting and creating as I've ever been at any point in my whole career, Rustin. I wouldn't have envisioned it being this way. If you had have told the 27-year-old Damon Johnson that, hey, man, when you're 51, you're going to be more inspired and driven than you are right now, I wouldn't have thought that possible. In my mind, I would have thought, well, God, man, when guys get to be in their 50s, they're thinking about retirement. They're thinking about slowing down. And nothing could be more opposite the situation. It's I get up every day and put ideas in my phone, and I'm calling Ricky or I'm calling a buddy down the street here in Nashville going, hey, man, come over, let's finish this, let's work on that. I feel in a lot of ways, man, I've just simplified a lot of things in my life and really stripped it down to just, my family, my health regimen. I try to go to the gym a little bit. I try to run and music. And, other than watching some football on television, that's plenty, man. I got plenty to keep me busy and plenty to stay excited about. And I feel like Echo is the culmination of all that. This is where I'm at in my life right now. And I feel like these 5 songs are a great kind of measuring stick of, where I'm at musically and where I'm headed musically.
Nice, yeah. And I'm right there with you. And I are the same age, and I'm like, I work harder now and I'm more creative now than I was 25 years ago. And I'm telling you, that whole adage about, being wasted on youth, it's got to be true. So,
no doubt about it, brother. And the other great thing about what's happening especially in rock music right now, I'm sure you hear a lot of the doom and gloom and frustration that people talk about, as I hear. But I feel like there's never been a better time for real artists, real songwriters, real musicians. The downsizing of the record companies, kind of the increase of the do-it-yourself marketing, social media, all that stuff. I just feel like it works in our favor, Rustin. Guys like yourself as well. It's like, look, if you got real skills and you still love it, then you can work. You can absolutely work. You can find a following. You can build that following, grow that fan base. And, I'm just committed to giving even my small group of fans, I'm just committed to giving them what they want. They wanted an acoustic record, I gave it to them. They wanted some electric, I'm giving it to them. And to be able to piggyback that with my work with Black Star Riders, with my involvement with Thin Lizzy, man, I feel like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, dude. I feel like I got the golden ticket and I got run of the whole shop. I feel very, very grateful to be where I'm at in my career right now.
Now, does the title Echo hold any significance?
Echo was a word that my lovely wife Linda came up with. We were talking about the fact that I had put out only 2 other solo records, and they were both acoustic. She always loved the fact that each album had a one-word name. In 2000, I put out an album called Dust. And then in 2010, I put out another acoustic album called Release. She just thought it was cool that it was simple like that. So she threw that word at me one day, Echo, and I loved it. And I really loved it when I started speaking to her brother, who I'm very close with. He's an amazing graphic artist. And we started talking about that word, and I played him some of the songs, and he sent me what is the album art, the album cover now for the album. He sent me that piece of art that he designed, and it just blew me away. So it just felt like some good synergy there. A lot of things lined up that felt good, that looked great, that sounded great. And so yeah, man, I like Echo.
See, when I listened to it and when I saw it and everything, I thought it really is, getting back to what you said before, you go all the way back to Brother Kane. This is just sort of, to me, a reverberation or an echo of everything that has come before from you. Your whole career, is somehow intricately in all of these songs, bringing you to where you're at now. So I thought it's sort of a continuing echo of everything you've already done,
Rustin, I like that, my friend. I like that very much. And that was absolutely my intent, was at the very least, was to remind people. And I like calling it an echo, that, hey, don't forget, here's this dude, you used to hear him on the radio constantly 20 years ago, And that's been the greatest fulfillment, I feel, man, just running into fans and communicating with people online. They're like, yeah, man, it's great to hear you singing again, but this time doing it with the Les Paul in your hand instead of only an acoustic guitar. I mean, I'll always do acoustic stuff, man. It's too much fun. It's very fulfilling. I guess in a way I fancy myself sort of the poor man's Neil Young. I've always been inspired by his career. He'll go out and make a badass Crazy Horse record and just rock balls, and then he'll strip it down and do a Prairie Wind or something that sounds like After the Gold Rush or Harvest, and I love that stuff as well.
Well, we couldn't do this if it was a full album, but there's 5 tracks on Echo. I'd love to go through real quickly and take a look at each of the songs. Nobody Usin' has been stuck in my head all morning. I love the groove on that one, the nuances. Tell us about Nobody Usin'.
Nobody Usin' is a song that I wrote with an old buddy of mine several years ago, and it just always stayed with me. It was one of those that I was like, hey, man, one of these days, I'm going to recut that. So the tempo is very reminiscent of Got No Shame, the very first Brother Kane single that ever, was released. And in a lot of ways, man, it's kind of the song that Brother Kane and I as a singer are most known for. So I love the familiarity of the tempo, of the intensity, just the bashing guitars and drums and stuff. Nick put the arrangement through a blender. I mean, if you heard the original version, you'd just laugh and go, wow, it's almost 2 different songs. So that's so much fun for me to get a passionate fan like Nick to go, oh, dude, I love this. How about let's change this around and for us to agree on something. The final product was great, man. Great guitars on that song.
Right, and it opens up with Dead. Now, I spend my days counseling drug addicts and alcoholics, and that song immediately took me to that mindset. But what is the song actually about for you?
Wow, fantastic, Rustin. Man, I'm fortunate I grew up with a great family, great parents. Both my mom and my dad are very optimistic people. They're hardworking people. And, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if it wasn't for their influence. So much of what we do in the music business is a lot of work, a lot of hard work. And I have found that it's twice as fulfilling if you can do it with a positive attitude and just kind of get up every day looking for what's good about it instead of what's wrong with it. Unfortunately, I find myself surrounded with pessimists and naysayers and people that want to just shoot holes in everything and look at what's wrong. So Dead is definitely a lyrical take on that. Almost kind of, for lack of a better word, man, it's kind of sassy. It's like, come on, man, can't you find a reason to get excited? Can't you? That's what I love about the lyric in the chorus. Why don't you find a way to get high? There's a way to do that doesn't require drugs and alcohol. Look, man, I'm in no way a sobriety fanatic at all, but I'm just saying that there's things in this life, and especially with music, that can get you as high, as motivated, as excited as any drug possibly could. So that lyric really attests to that.
And tragically, there's so many people out there, through their insecurities, they're addicted to that negativity. That's how they make themselves feel better about life, is by trying to bring everybody else down around them.
It's the greatest problem with social media. It's the biggest drag about it. It gives the naysayers a platform, and you almost have to discipline yourself to see it coming and then just turn the page, just ignore it and keep moving, because you can get sucked into it, man, and it can color your day, it can color your relationships, it can color your life, seriously. And man, no small amount of energy every day just goes into me getting in the right headspace, and a song like Dead really does it for me. And I love your take on it, and I've had a similar reaction from other people that have really listened to the lyric.
The Waiting Kills Me. Sounds like it may have started out, like you said, as an acoustic number and then took on that new life.
Yeah, it really did, man. It's so powerful how that song has evolved. The Waiting Kills Me and Dead are two songs that I wrote with my old friend Kelly Gray. Kelly produced the Wishful album for Brother Kane, and then Kelly and I started a really great side project a few years back called Slave to the System. And The Waiting Kills Me was a song that we were both really passionate about, that we had hoped would maybe make a future release for that project. And it's just a real musicality to that song. I feel like the chord structure is different. It's very unique. It goes in places that you wouldn't expect. You know, I've always felt like I'm a bit of a simpleton when it comes to writing. I don't know, man, growing up on Southern rock music, country music, a lot of times the arrangements and the chord progressions were very simple, and I love that. But The Waiting Kills Me took a different path, and whenever I would play it on the acoustic guitar, I just felt like it was kind of special, really, certainly different for me. So, you know, again, Nick picked up on that when I played it for him on the acoustic. He immediately said, "Hey, man, this one's great. This needs to be one of the five for sure." And I'm also really proud of the guitar playing on that song, Rustin. I felt like I expressed some stuff on the electric guitar that I haven't in a long time, maybe ever. I love the kind of soaring melodic nature of that solo. You know, hopefully some folks can kind of walk away singing that in their head, you know, like a great vocal melody.
Just Move On, speaking of which, has a classic, almost like Stones-like groove on the riff, but it's a very bluesy, rocking number.
Just Move On is the track I felt above all of them that would really remind people of Brother Kane. There's definitely a rootsy element to it. Certainly on our first album, we really kind of ran that flag up the pole. You know, I love the Stones. I love Humble Pie. I love the Small Faces. I love the Black Crowes. I've always kind of dug that kind of feel, and those suspended chords, like Keith Richards says, he kind of owns that real estate, man, musically. That's his. And just felt good, man. And a great melody in the vocal. My buddy Marty Fredrickson, you know, really played a big role in that. And yeah, man, it's just it's a feel-good song. You know, it's another song that sounds great on the acoustic guitar. You know, that Nick did a great job, I felt like, giving it more of a jam vibe. When I play that song live with my solo band, we really stretch it out and have some extended solos in there. So that one's been a lot of fun to play live as well.
I'll bet. So, in saving not necessarily the best for last, but perhaps my favorite at the moment, tell us about Scars.
What a great song, man. Scars is the one song on the album that I did not contribute to the writing. That is a song, again, that my great longtime friend Marty Fredrickson brought to me. He played me that song at his house one night, and the lyric absolutely leveled me. I just happened to be at a place in my life at that time where when I heard, "Nothing is easy when it hurts, but not even trying is worse. It doesn't matter who you are, the pain that only pulls us apart. What makes us great are the scars." It just leveled me, man. And I left his house singing that over and over. I had written it down in my phone. I was like, wow, what a great line. What makes us great are the scars. I could almost get it tattooed on my back, man. I believe that so much. And it may be the song that's gotten the biggest reaction lyrically of any of these five. Rustin, what's great is I find that people are getting the same inspiration from it that I got from it when I heard it. And then when you add on top of the great lyric, the fact that Nick and I approached it musically, we almost were trying to make it sound like the Pixies or something. You know, we wanted it to just really come in heavy in the chorus and kind of explode into that lyric. And I just couldn't be happier with how that track turned out.
Yeah, it's a fantastic track. But as I said, all five of them are fantastic tracks. I'm hoping there's going to be a second part to this, Echoes 2 or whatever we want to call it.
Well, brother, thank you for that. You can write it on a rock. It's absolutely going to happen. That's my goal. I'd like to do another group of 5 or 6 songs. And I'm excited to have some discussions going with a couple of different labels that, feel like it would be great to maybe just combine the two groups of songs and make one full length. I just had limited time. I had a limited budget, but I knew I had to do something, man, and wanted to get it out. So hopefully Echo is just the tip of the iceberg for things to come.
I certainly hope so. So before we get out of here real quick, I understand you are working on recording the third Black Star Riders album, hopefully for a 2017 release. What can you share with us at this stage?
That is indeed what's happening. We'll be in the studio again with Nick Masculinix in August here in Nashville. Ricky and I have already gotten pieces together for about 13 or 14 songs. I know he spent some time with Scott Gorham in Germany back in April, and they have 2 or 3 things cooking there. So we're going to all wind up back in the rehearsal room together in early August and flesh all this stuff out. I got to say, man, the stuff that we've already kind of started writing I think it's the next level, man. I think it's a total step up for us. There's just been an absolute upward trajectory with the sound and focus of Black Star Riders, over the course of the 2 records. We recognize that the third album is an incredible opportunity for us. The support and the fan reaction that we're getting in Europe is incredible, Rustin. Again, I just wouldn't have thought it possible for guys that have been around as long as we all have. So we're committed to building on that, and we're also committed to getting it kicking over here in the United States. Because the band is just too good. The songs are too good. The live show's too good. And so you're going to see us a lot, man, in 2017, I promise you.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. And like they said, a lot of times it's that third album where they say you really find that signature that marks who you guys are as a band. So I'm looking forward to it. And I'm glad Nick's going to be producing again. And as we said at the beginning, you're getting ready to head back over to Europe for some more of those Thin Lizzy dates. This is a huge year in the history of Thin Lizzy, 40th anniversary of the iconic Jailbreak album. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Mickey D of Motorhead handling drums on this tour as well?
Well, there's been an update to all that. And this is probably going to blow your mind. Mickey D had an incredible opportunity to go and do some dates with the Scorpions.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, so his schedule with them has dictated that he's unfortunately not going to be able to play with us on these Thin Lizzy dates, but we're really happy for Mickey. We love him, man. He's been a part of our family for a long time. So, but on the drum stool, we have the incredible Scott Travis from Judas Priest.
Oh, how nice
is going to
that?
do these dates with us. And then the other surprise, which is still blowing my mind, the fact that we've been even able to pull this off, is Tom Hamilton from Aerosmith is going to play bass with us.
Holy shit. Scott Travis from Priest, Tom Hamilton from Aerosmith, and of course you and Donnie and Scott. That's a phenomenal lineup, man.
No, it's just incredible, man. And your reaction was exactly like mine. I went, Tom Hamilton, holy shit. It's just going to be amazing. And, I'm above everything, I'm really happy for Scott Gorham. His life's musical legacy has been Thin Lizzy. He's been kind of the one constant in that band and under that name, since he first joined in, I guess, 1974 is when he joined Thin Lizzy. So, for him to devote the time and effort that he has to Black Star Riders really says a lot about Scott, that he's that committed to creating new music. So I'm happy for him that we can go out now, kind of celebrate the Jailbreak record, celebrate the legacy of Phil Lynott. And, the fans are ready for a little of it, man. It's not going to be a lot of dates, man. I think it's a total of six or seven. And it's just the right amount to kind of scratch that itch for him. And I'm certainly honored to be a part of it because, as I've said, into redundancy, man, Thin Lizzy changed my life as a young musician, and they've continued to inspire me to this day. So I'm very honored to be a part of it.
Well, Damon, I am honored to call you friend and get a chance to chat with you again about all things that going on with you musically and the new EP, Echo. Fantastic. Can't wait for more. I know you are time strapped with all the stuff going on in your life, so I will let you get out of here. But hopefully we'll get a chance to talk again, maybe after you record the new album. We'll talk all about that.
Rustin, I look forward to it, man. I was really happy to see your name on the call list today. Thank you, man. It's always great to talk to you, brother. Thanks for all the kind words and all the support. I hope I see you really soon.
Absolutely. Take care, my friend.
Okay, man. You too. Thanks.